Filthy and Mo remain stuck in the jail cell with the corpse of the man that was basically their father. He still lays on his stomach with his glasses askew and a large knife standing over the back of his neck. A puddle of drying blood separates from the yellow plasma as the body stinks and reeks. 30 hours has elapsed since Rutherford's death, and no guards have been around with food due to the rapture. This indicated somewhere in the remains of the lamenting, terror-stricken minds of Filthy and Mo that Griggs had done whatever horror he'd been planning. Physically and emotionally battered, they lay asleep, by no means at peace, in the half-dark with Leviticus's body. In their waking hours, they expected to starve to death. Let's stick around to see if they do. No, they heard an explosion and woke up, and then they saw the professor's body and remembered they were stuck. They didn't know what's about to happen, so they knew they had to be armed. They pulled the knife out of Leviticus so they wouldn't be harmed. The guard finally ran up. He had a melting face and screamed, "We're all gonna die if we don't leave this place!" He held up his key and then he opened the cage. Filthy Mo jumped up with thoughts of Griggs in a rage. "You got the wrong man. You haven't yet won. Strangle you with my cuffs, kick your head and run. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll blast off your head with a gun. You got the wrong man. You haven't yet won. I'll strangle you with my cuffs, kick your head and run. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll blast off your head with a gun."
They completely lost any composure that they once had had. It was due to watching the slaughter of their dear-old dad. Half-rational thoughts swam through their broken mind. They were being helped, so they had responded kind. The guard said,
"Come on, death threatens us all!"
And his terrified voice reverberated through the hall. Another guard behind him said,
"You're not getting out!"
Then he shot him in the back and blood sprayed from his mouth.
The first guard fell at the hands of his superior. They were all crazy, but this man was eerie. Mad with control, he stepped over the dead guard. To close the gate, he walked over to the bars. They looked into the eyes of this dangerous nut. The knife came into sight, his Filthy stuck him in the gut. Mo pushed his face down to the corpse to make him see, and the last thing he heard was,
"This is for his family."
From these fallen men, they harvested a couple of guns to make them have a chance in case another maniac comes in and attempt to be free. They left Leviticus on the floor and crawled through a hole. A bomb broke through the door. Standing up straight, they find themselves in a hall with a clock that said 5:15 on the wall. They heard another blast followed by sickened screams. Some have even heard it popping up in their dreams. Filthy and Mo reverted to instinct to survive because in order to find Griggs, they had to get out of there alive. They ran through the hall, going through the next door. Another cell block here with a couple of bodies on the floor. The present aroma of burnt flesh was sick. There was a man in the cell bashing dome against brick. A short inmate was slammed up to the wall by one of 20 others in a fisticuffs brawl. Filthy looked at Mo. "We gotta get through.
Then we'll run straight through it like in a mosh pit we do."
But their heads were cracked together when they ran through the place by a big prisoner with tattoos on his face. He meant to capture them as collateral. Simple, but he fell as a rubber bullet bounced off his temple. The guards tried to take control of the havoc-stricken halls with an explosive that discharged little black steel balls. They ran back away to the way that they came, away from the guards and their tear gas rain. And back through the door they had to take another route, but they weren't the only person who was trying to get out. Another inmate ran up with blood on his pants. He said,
"The Great Road numbers, the Great Road chance!"
Filthy agreed. Now they were on their way, and in the window the sun rises, you could see the light of day. It had a damaging impact on the brain to see a bomb squad dog fucking going insane. The inmate with them said, "Back right!" In a collapsed hallway was all that was inside, so they took the other way. They were getting closer now, but this room full of guards just wouldn't allow. They said, "Stop right there, or else you're gonna get dead." A new guy grabbed Filthy's gun and stuck it in Filthy's head. Filthy struggled against the tight big hands.
"Move more muscle and I'll kill this
They were
man!"
up against the walls, and 3 feet from their place was Mo with his gun at the inmate's face. The guard said, "Let him go or else we're gonna shoot." His voice sounded muffled from within his prison riot suit. In Mo's peripheral he saw something red, a fire extinguisher inches from the man's head, and he didn't hesitate. He fired out of 3 rocks. It blew up Filthy, and the men were blown out of their socks. The inmate caught most of the blast, and they found the room was now white cloud, but he was down for the count. They took advantage of the clouded room and took off. Oxygen deficiency was causing them to cough. A flaming doorway showed the outside war. The door itself was on the floor, charred splattered with gore. They ran out, the sun was rising, there was fires and bodies compatible to G.I. Joe's plastic guns with the Saudis. A propane truck crashed through the front gate. A fireball, the suicidal man's fate. These 2 bums got to their feet and ran with the gas. From the guard tower, look, they're being shot at by a prisoner, laughing and shooting, showing his hate. And they were splashed with melted metal as they crawled through the gate. And they ran for their lives on hot wired a car and sped back to the lab, cause it wasn't that far. And they changed forever, the drunken hobo brothers. Their last week of life was far worse than all the others.